Okay. I'm really hoping I don't get copyright claimed for this one. I saw it just earlier today. A segment from the Guy show. I can't tell late night hosts apart. They're all just sort of cut from the same cloth. In which they discuss the subject of NFTs. Jimmy Fallon, there we go. People, the Guy show, right, exactly. People in chat, you know what I'm talking about. Listen, I've kind of avoided talking about NFTs for a while because I feel like I haven't had very much to say outside the obvious absurdity of NFTs. You know what I mean? I mean, I feel like a video is making the rounds of some guy like pooping in his pants and like slipping when the poop falls down the leg of his pants and then he lands in the pile of poop and then he cries and everyone's making fun of the video and I'm thinking like, do I need to make fun of the video? The difference here, at least the break in the analogy, is that unlike the poop fall slap funny video, NFTs seem to continue existing no matter how much people make fun of them, and they only seem to be growing in prominence. So, if you want to know more about NFTs than I could ever tell you, I strongly, strongly suggest you watch what is, and I'm serious when I say this, and I say this without hyperbole, maybe one of the best YouTube videos. That's not a joke. It's essentially got the quality and analytical capacity of a high-quality documentary, except it's a YouTube video. It's been doing really well in the algorithm. I hope it becomes his most famous video, if it hasn't been already. I hope it gets more famous than any other single piece of media on NFTs. It's incredibly good. It's very entertaining. Don't let its length deter you. I would easily watch it again, like, the next day. And in fact, I probably will. Yeah, very, very good. The basic gist of it is this. As far as I can tell, NFTs are like... I'm gonna get crap for this. Okay. So basically, we have real money, which is a thing that exists, okay? It doesn't really exist, but people say it exists, and that's what we need. Real currency, like US dollars, or like any other kind of currency that people use, are only as useful as the trust in the institution that prints those things, okay? So a US dollar is only worthwhile as long as people have faith that the US government, which prints the US dollar, is capable of paying its debts, issuing its bonds, doing the whole work through. Yeah, fiat money, okay? That's how currency works, okay? And currency is a good thing, Money, capital, has its issues, but one of the nice things about currency as a concept is that it allows us to subdivide worth down into small units of value that we can use to mathematically accrue, proportions, debts. It makes it easy to sort of mathematically work out who owes what and to whom. It's at least easier for that system than bartering ever could be. There's a reason why, like, everywhere on Earth has fiat currency, or the very least currency, because it's useful, okay? The problem with fiat currency is that it's sort of reliant on the power of a central institution, usually governments that produce the currency, that regulate its use, that have laws about how you can use it, and that if that institution ever falls, fails, or becomes corrupt, there are issues with how its currency might work, etc. So a bunch of very enterprising individuals created something called crypto, okay? Now, crypto has something to do with something called the blockchain, all right? Now, I'm going to get shit for this. The blockchain, as far as I can tell, is like a very complicated string of mathematical computations that goes on forever, I think. It's like a very complicated, sort of fractally complicated web of information that is constructed bit by bit by a bunch of computers that are doing work and make a lot of heat and generate a lot of electricity. It's a series of tubes, okay? As I understand it, I'm not interested in any corrections because, frankly, the technological details of blockchain or crypto are irrelevant to what we're talking about here. It's like a database, and it's very fancy and it's very complicated. And somehow this has something to do with crypto. And crypto is like a thing that they produce in the database. And the crypto is supposed to be like a new kind of currency. Remember when Bitcoin was like nothing and now Bitcoin is worth like $10 trillion, right? So what we call that, all right, is a speculation. People who like crypto talk about crypto as though it's a currency. The proselytizers of crypto, you know, the people who will sing its praises, they will talk about how it's this decentralized, not centrally controlled, you know, sort of e-currency, and they want you to be able to buy soda at the grocery mart with it. You know what I mean? Like you can, like in a crypto world, you know, you can take the escalator down into your Elon Musk hyperloop and wave a card that digitally extracts 1/8 trillionth of a Bitcoin from your Bitcoin wallet, and then you go down and the gamer lights turn on, and so on and so on. The funny thing is that basically nowhere accepts crypto as a currency, and the few places that did kind of dropped it. And the reason for that is basically nobody uses crypto outside of the loudest and most annoying upper middle class people on earth who all seem to have a Twitter account. And B, it's really bad at being a currency. So I want to talk to you for a second about deflation, okay? We know that inflation is bad, but that's kind of a simplification. Inflation is only bad when there's a lot of it. A small amount of inflation, like let's just say 2% per year, is actually a good thing. The reason a small amount of inflation is a good thing is because the fact that money's value continues to depreciate, which is what inflation means, that a dollar is worth slightly less every year, the reason that's good is because it encourages you to spend that money. If you just hoard your money away, you know, in a bank account, it's not becoming more valuable. You may get some interest off keeping it in a savings account, but on the whole, it's, you know, you're losing value by not spending that money. You want people to spend money because when you spend money, you stimulate the economy. The worst thing that you can do with regards to a currency is incentivize people to never spend it. Now, let me ask you, if you knew that by the end of the next year, your dollar would be worth 15% more than it is right now, that prices will go down and every dollar bill you hold on to becomes more valuable with time, wouldn't that be a strong incentive to hoard money? Because historically, that's exactly what happens. You hoard money. Now, the wealthy hoard money no matter what, but when people in the middle and lower class start hoarding money, you have a serious, serious problem. It can also be a big issue for debt, people who have debts, right? Because if you sign off on a loan for $1,000 at one point, and then later $1,000 is worth much, much, much more, like 50% or 100% more, all of a sudden, without changing its dollar value, your debt has increased massively in terms of the actual worth, the value of the money that you owe to pay off that debt. That's why deflation is actually really, really bad economically. It can lead to a lot of devastating downstream effects. It sounds good, like, oh, the dollar is stronger, but in reality, there are a lot of really bad things to come with it. So remember, deflation is something that can be really disruptive for a currency because it incentivizes hoarding, right? And they want crypto to be a currency. Now, deflation, technically, is when a currency becomes worth more over time, right? Well, here's the chart for Bitcoin. Can you see any issues with it being used as a currency? I can see a few. When Bitcoin, let's just say, let's take right here. Let's take early 2019. At a Bitcoin being worth, what would this be? $3.6 thousand. And then you have today, after a plummet, worth 10 times that much. Switch to a linear graph. This is a linear graph. 0, 20,000, 40,000. What do you want from me? The issue, well, actually, there are two main issues here. First of all, currencies are generally better when they're stable, because it's really nice to know that in between you cashing your paycheck and spending it, the currency value isn't going to wildly fluctuate, you know? Stability is really important. Like, it's incredibly valuable in terms of, like, the worth of a currency. It's incredibly valuable with regards to how currencies function, because if you don't have stability, people don't know what their bank account is going to be worth. And then all of a sudden you have people starting to like buy, sell, on their own assets. Like, can you imagine that? Yeah, buy the dip. Can you imagine people like trying to get paid on the days where the currency is worth the least, but then trying to spend their money when it's worth the most? I mean, like grocery prices fluctuating by like 2 or 3 times between different periods that you go there. Like, if what I'm describing right now sounds outlandish, there are actually stock market themed restaurants you can go to in the world right now where the prices of goods and services will fluctuate massively based on a combination of supply and demand and arbitrary internal mathematical computations, where you can literally buy the dip, sell high, buy low, and they are terrible. You go there when you're wealthy and you don't mind constantly playing with, the contents of your wallet like it's a fun gambling game. People who actually have to work to live and spend to eat generally like stability when it comes to their grocery prices. People who are, this close to financial ruin like it that when they go to the grocery store, the bag of rice costs $3 instead of it suddenly costing $9, because some crypto billionaire encouraged people to buy on Twitter, and the collective value of everyone's currency went up. Or sorry, it would be sell, right? Whatever. The point is the fluctuations are an issue. A big issue. A severe issue. It would be selling, if there's a crash. The reason I'm talking about all of this is because I want to hit home that cryptocurrency is just a speculation market. It is a thing that you can buy and get other people to buy into in the hopes that it will be worth more than when you bought, and then you sell when it's worth more than what you bought it at. This is called a pump and dump scheme. It's an incredibly old trick. It is as simple as it gets. You get people to buy into something so its worth increases, and then you sell when its worth is high. In terms of crypto, because it doesn't function well as a currency, which is what it purports to be, it essentially provides no social utility outside of it being a pump and dump scheme. And because we're talking about something that is essentially a zero-sum game because no external value is being generated, not even like with a currency where there are values inherent to the stability that you get from the issuing of a currency, you facilitate a ton of social processes with traditional fiat currency. But let me ask you, what does cryptocurrency allow you to do that you couldn't have done with dollars? Buy drugs, hitmen, and like CP, I guess. That's the big hitter. That's where you get your libertarian market, I guess. That is incredibly essential social market. There you go. It's free of regulation, which is, funnily enough, by the way, it being free of regulation is the reason why so many people who were like corrupt financial, like, speculators in traditional fiat currency are now moving into NFTs and crypto, like Peter Thiel, because it's the same market. You just make money off rubes. That's it. That's the whole game, right? It doesn't matter what the market is, You can be a proselytizer for the gold standard fiat currency crypto. It don't matter. There are always people to make money off of. So the reason why I'm getting through all this, okay? Cryptocurrency is cringe. It doesn't provide us any social utility. The blockchain might be interesting tech for some potential hypothetical stuff, but in terms of it facilitating the cryptocurrency, it doesn't work as a currency. It's just a pump and dump scheme. A ton of people are going to lose a ton of money off of it. People already have. We recently had a big dip in the value of Bitcoin. It's led to a lot of people going bankrupt. This happens every time. You are essentially just gambling. It's not crazy tech. It's not the wave of the future. Nothing new is useful. It's what it is. And NFTs are just a way of getting people to buy crypto. Please watch the Folding Ideas YouTube video. Please watch Dan Olson. It is a brilliant video. It is unimaginably good. I strongly encourage you to watch that. Okay? Please do so. All right? Please watch that video. Now, all of this is a prelude to another thing, which is this bit from the guy, the late night guy show. The guy at the late night guy show, Fallon Jimmy Fallon. Every time I see a clip from this guy, he comes off like kind of an idiot. I don't know if there's some virtue to his show that I'm missing, but every time I see anything from him, I just, it seems remarkably deficient in any sort of worth. Not just in terms of a person, but like in terms of how well he runs his show. Anyway, I'm going to get copyright annihilated if I try to show this clip. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to play it and you're going to hear the audio. I'm sorry, this is just a limitation of the live streaming format. I can't dispute copyright claims in a live stream. I could potentially lose out on a month of streaming on YouTube if I make a mistake here. So I want you to listen to this and I want you to pay attention because the sound is what I care about. Okay? Listen up. Won't that also cause a copyright claim? Not if I talk over it enough. Shh.
I jumped in.
I know, I heard. I'm so happy I taught you what they were.
You did. You taught me what's up, and then I bought
They being NFTs.
an ape.
I got an ape too because I saw you on the show with people and you said you got a MoonPay, so I went and I copied you and did the same thing.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
This is your
mine.
ape. Are we debuting
It's really cool.
Here is their ape.
Cool. Like the hat, the shades.
Now, what? How did you pick?
They're all very happy.
Because you can pick your ape.
Yes, I was going through a lot of them and I was like, I want something that like kind of reminds me of me, but this one, it does. I think we made like another version of it where he takes the hat off and blonde hair comes out.
Yeah, because you can do it now whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Animated version.
We're part of the same. We're part of the same community.
Yeah.
So they're describing a picture right now. I can draw a monkey with gold hair. In fact, they already did on stream. Now, I understand that there's a temptation here to think like, oh, NFTs are the new hype, and they're just talking about it because their late-night writers are hacks and are alcoholics and cocaine addicts, and they had nothing else to talk about, so they were just like, yeah, dude, NFTs, new thing. I would bet you anything that they were paid a significant amount of money to promote these NFTs. The reason why is because NFTs are essentially a, what would you call this? A conspicuous consumption-oriented vector through which you can get ordinary people into cryptocurrency, because by looking into NFTs, you start to look into crypto. You start to look into Bitcoin. How do you buy an NFT? Well, you need crypto. You get familiar with the terminology and, oh, wow, my NFT will grow in value over time somehow? Sure, let's find out. These two, and I don't know if this is something you can just look up and find out clearly. I don't know if this sounds conspiratorial. But I would bet anything, dollars to donuts, these two have been paid 6 to 7 digit number paychecks to talk about NFTs on this bit. This is just a way of getting a large market into NFTs so that a bunch of people... I could be lowballing that. This could be 8 digit. They are trying to normalize this as a way of getting the average person more familiar with NFTs. Now, thankfully... and this is nice, okay? Thankfully, NFTs are a very unappealing way of getting people into a pump and dump scheme because they are pictures of monkeys. You can tell me the difference between an NFT and a picture, and I can tell you the difference between, I don't know, like a ham sandwich and the Elon Musk's asshole that you're eating. I don't know. That was bad. Workshop that. Tempest edited a better joke. I went into that one blind.
How about new?
It is a pervasive issue. For example, now that I'm one of the world's greatest Final Fantasy XIV players, it didn't escape my notice that for a time the developers were actually considering incorporating NFTs into their game. I've noticed a bunch of people, like for example the new Stalker game, they were considering doing that. They took that away thanks to public backlash. I think for Final Fantasy XIV, they also got a ton of backlash. Now, it wasn't the developers, it was Square Enix higher up. Sorry, the publishers then. Now, the reason why this is happening, okay, is not just because they're trying to make a quick buck. They are doing it because they are being paid to do it. There are billionaires in crypto. There are billions to be made. And if you promote NFTs at every possible angle, here, these games use NFTs. These celebrities are talking about NFTs. AstroTurf, the whole damn thing. Get it out, get it out, get it out. Everything you can. You essentially manufacture consent. Twitter is doing this as well. They're hexagon-shaped NFT profile pictures, aka the people you're legally allowed to bully. They are trying to make suckers out of you. Now, to an extent, the main people being harmed here are the people stupid enough to buy into it. You know, obviously there's environmental damage done from like the minting of these NFTs. I know that like you produce about as much and you require about as much energy for crypto production as like a small developed country or something. Like worldwide, it's like an extra country and it's just making crypto or whatever. Which is obviously really, really, really bad on the face of it. But it goes well beyond that. I think this is indicative of the mechanism by which they will try to fleece us in the future, because it's not just NFTs. Musk does the same thing. It's crypto grifting. You come up with this bright, brand new technological spin on something that's existed for a long time, and you make an entire career out of, taking advantage of people's naivete, their futuristic optimism. Elon Musk makes a ton of money and gets a ton of good PR off of making worse versions of trains and everything else. The people who sell NFTs and crypto to you have created something which costs an enormous amount of energy to produce, has no value as a currency, and is essentially just a waste of everyone's time. But some people are going to make an extraordinary amount of money on it. Again, please God, watch the Folding Ideas video on the subject. I can't recommend it highly enough. Let's finish this Jimmy Fallon clip. Very, very, you can tell they're being paid to do this, man.
Both apes.
I love it.
This is my ape.
It's yours.
Here's
Yours
his
is
ape.
so cool. I love the red heart sunglasses.
Yours is so cool. You ever watched a YouTuber like get a really good sponsorship that you know they're not happy to do? They sell it better than she does.
I love the captain hat.
It reminded me of me a little bit because I wear striped shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I've worn these heart sunglasses because my daughters, just as a joke, they have them, and as a joke, I put them on. So I've done this. And I love yacht rock and being breezy. So I'm like, yeah, that kind of, and I like the blue. Mm-hmm. Dude, look at us.
They look like they could be friends.
They're buddies.
They're buddies. You see. Nice. All right, well, copyright strikes, come get me. I think you guys understand the point. This is just a vector by which a lot of people are going to get hurt. And like the easy thing to do is to go like, oh well, fuck them. If people get into the crypto stuff, they're idiots. Fuck them. But a lot of the people that get into the stuff are desperate, and their ignorance is being preyed upon by malicious con men. And for that reason, as annoying as they are, and as okay as it is to bully them on Twitter, it is, I definitely feel a great deal of sympathy for them. And you can look, there have been so many people already who have been hacked or who have suffered tremendous financial loss because they made a tiny error in an unregulated system with no oversight on a blockchain where things can't be easily edited or corrected. My ape's gone, etc., etc. And it is very funny, but I still feel kind of bad for them because a lot of them really just have been shanghaied.